Radiation Hormesis, the story of the healing stone. In spite of the extensive research carried out during the past century, intense controversy continues over the health effects of low-level radiation. This controversy is largely due to political, social, and economic issues among scientists and analysts in a variety of disciplines. These issues cloud objectivity and strengthen paradigms. Over the past 10 years in 14 universities and 2 research institutes, Japanese scientists have conducted exceptional research which clearly demonstrates beneficial effects of low-level radiation and cancer cures following therapy with low doses of radiation. Assessment, replication, and extension of this work in North America could lead to greater appreciation of its significance. Cancer patients would demand such treatments, leading to universal acceptance of these biopositive effects and reducing public fear of nuclear technology. Resolving the controversy over beneficial effects of ionizing radiation. Jerry M. Cutler. Despite the fact that high doses of ionizing radiation are immunosuppressive, many studies have indicated that low doses radiation may stimulate the function of the immune system. In 1909, Russ first showed that mice treated with low-level radiation were more resistant against bacterial disease. Russ V.K. 1909. Later in 1982, Luckey published a large collection of references supporting immunostimulatory effects of low-dose radiation.
Just as you write my number down, just as the drinks arrive, just as they play your favorite songs, you never
So you got to look at it and figure what's the best places to cut on it, what's going to fall apart, what won't fall apart. And the darker stuff usually holds together a lot better. You got a lot of silver in it right in here. The light blue stuff, that crumbles and falls apart real easy. This light brown stuff over here, the real light green, you see mixed with a little brown, that'll all fall apart real easy. What's going to push out the best amount of rock, it's going to be right here in the middle where it looks like it'll hold up, where it looks like it's going to be the strongest rock. I'm going to start with that and see if I can't get a couple good cuts out of right here. I'll cut the whole thing up and see what happens with it. It won't just wash up, you got to rub it off. So after we've cut our slabs out of the rock, we just slice it up. After that, we got to take this rock, and we want the rock as smooth as possible because you put it against your body, you put it against your skin, you keep it there for as long as you can generally. And if it's not smooth, you know, you're not going to want to keep it against your body if it's not comfortable to you. You get all this just straight edged out so that we can round off all the sharp edges pretty much. So after we've cut off all the rough edges on it, we just basically have it all straight edges all the way around. We're going to hit it with the grinder, grind off all those rough edges just to get the rock as smooth as possible. Now after we've ground it all out and rounded it all off as smooth as we can, you know, you want it nice and comfortable so that you can put it wherever you need to and it's not going to dig into you or scratch or anything like that. And then we come to the deburring wheel right here. Now we use it to polish the rock. It doesn't actually have any polishing compound on it. It makes it look polished. And if we were to put polish on it and use actual polishing compound, it basically coats the rock with the polish and it'll mask all the rock's properties. So after you finish polishing everything out, you got to know where it's going to go to. Got to weigh the rock out and see what you got. 4.4. Nice. Good. That's what we need. Alright. Now we're going to go into how the pendants are done. For the pendants we use a different rock. It's a different type of rock. It's a carnotite stone. It's just the color's way different. It's a different makeup of rock. Now when you get your basic carnotite stone, first thing you got to do is measure it out. All this rock here has been cut, measured out. You know, it's all been cut in one way or another and measured. And this bucket right here is the same way. Everything in here has been cut and measured, and you use what you can from it. But generally, the good portion of the rock just doesn't work out for you. Everything's got to be real specific, and the rocks just don't come that perfect. Now this rock that's over here, all this is from the same rock over here on this right side. It's all pretty hot. There's spots in here that are really hot, really screaming hot. You get a rock that measures out about where you want it to, and you'll start cutting it into slabs like this, just like the green rock you do. Just cut it into slabs about how thick you want it. These are going to be for pendants, so they're a bit thinner. You got to come out here and measure it to see where it's too hot, where it's not hot enough. Like this is measuring pretty hot. This would be way too hot for your average pendant that you want somebody to wear. Anytime we need something, I got to come over here and start picking out rocks. If we need a whole bunch of pendants, I got to come through and measure out and find rocks that are going to be good for pendants. Because if I just start randomly grabbing rocks and cutting, I'll never get what we need. Or it's rocks that are real brittle, that are going to fall apart. You don't want to give somebody that rock. They're going to get it and it's going to fall apart on them. That's really hot. That we couldn't give to anybody to put against their person. That's not near as hot. This will probably make some good pendants out of here. So much detail in it and so much time spent just trying to figure, will this rock work? What part of that rock will work? And how to cut it right to get just enough hot material in the rock to make it measure out what you want it to, while not putting too much in and it's going to be too hot and you can't use it anyway.
The history behind radiation, hormesis, goes way back. This is nothing new we're doing. In fact, history's, if you look up the stories in history of things that have happened in the past, it's absolutely amazing. I'll give you an example. When they set off the Trinity A bomb, there was a herd of cattle nearby. They got a dose of radiation. Everybody became radiophobic. You figure the cattle were like 8, 9 years old at the time. Do you know that 18 years later, they started slowly euthanizing these cattle, and the reason being because they just weren't dying? Even now, you can go, present day, you can go to Montana to radon mines, and people spend a lot of money to go set in these mines for radon therapy. These are some examples of some antiques that I've got. These are called revigators. These revigators were water crocks they used back in the 1920s. 30s and even in 40s that were lined with uranium ore. And you can see right here, they're hot, if you can hear that. People would do is they fill this up with water and they would drink the water. You will find out what they've discovered is, well, not discovered, they've done this for a long time, is that the radiation is going through your body. As it's going through your body, it's slightly damaging your cells and DNA. It's kind of like working out. When you're working out, you're damaging your cells and DNA. When that happens, your cells and DNA, they excrete a protein. That's the basis of your immune system, how it works. By doing that, we're stimulating and activating your immune system in these different areas. I work mainly these days with people with cancer. And I'm going to give you a couple stories here. For many years I was working with people with cancer and having a great success with it. And what I thought is that through all the research they've done is that we were stimulating and activating the immune system to fight off the cancer. And I thought that's why we were having so much success. Well, then one day I had a woman call me up, and she had aspergillus and spinal meningitis. She'd been bedridden for 17 years. Now aspergillus, or some people say aspergillus, is straight out of fungus. Okay, so what happened was within a matter of, a few weeks, she was getting better. She'd start going into seizures. Now this woman had been bedridden 17 years. She was on oxygen 24 hours a day. Morphine, she was in so much pain, morphine wasn't taking away the pain. And she got wheeled into her doctor's office for a physical, and he said, hey, you know what, this is as good as it gets. And he'd been her doctor for 20 years. Well, what happened was that she went in a month later to get a physical, and he walked in there, and she's standing there with her hand open saying, hi doc, how are you doing? And, well, she didn't get her physical. He just stood there with his mouth open for 20 minutes. But see, that was important because it was fungus. It was fungus that she had, okay, the aspergillus. Well, that was very important because, like I say, she had aspergillus, which was fungus. Then I had a doctor friend of mine in Pennsylvania call me. She had a woman there who was a Mennonite woman who had breast cancer. It was the size of your palm, twice as thick. They more or less sent her home to die. It was seeping, but she tells me, she says, Jay, it smells really bad. And I thought to myself, you know, if it smells, it's fungus. So I had her put a hot stone directly on the tumor. When I mean a hot stone, I'm talking about a radioactive stone. It's not hot. Everything that comes out of my shop is not, I want it strong enough to get a response from the body, but not too strong where we're going to overwhelm the immune system. So when I talk about a hot rock, I'm talking about a higher millirem per hour. I go by millirems. That seems to be the easiest unit of measurement for me to go by. So I sent her a hot stone and had her put directly on the tumor. Within 24 hours, it started to heal over and stop seeping, and the smell was going away. Within 2 weeks, the tumor was gone. So that put everything together. So what we were doing in actuality, after years of following this, not so much research, because there is no research on this, but remember I said how the radiation was going through and is slightly damaging your cells and DNA, and how that's stimulating and activating your immune system. Well, from what I see, the radiation is actually doing the same thing to the cells of the fungus, except it can't repair itself like the human cell. See, the human cell is in a constant state of repair and duplication. That's what it does, and it does it very well. Now, when you're constantly damaging the cells of the fungus, they can't repair themselves fast like the human cells, so they die. So let's go about like with fungus. Fungus in your body eats dead tissue. The dead tissue, after the fungus eats the dead tissue, it excretes mycotoxins, which is poison, which kills healthy cells and healthy tissue. In other words, it's creating more food for itself. I believe that those mycotoxins are what is the cancer and what's spreading. So, like you hear a lot of people talking about detox. They're always doing detox to get the poisons out of your body. Well, what's causing those poisons is the fungus itself. So we have, what it is everything makes so much sense. I mean, all we're doing is, let's say cancer, we're going ahead, we're damaging the fungus. We're killing the fungus that's dropping the poisons, which is the cancer, which is the Lyme's, which is the arthritis, which is just about every disease you can think of. And we're stimulating and activating your immune system, so you're getting better, you're feeling better, you're going to live longer, healthier lives. I've been following this for years. But every day we get an email, a phone call, another miracle comes in. Could go all day long with the miracles coming in, but the fact is we're just doing this so we can help people. And over my shop you'll see a sign that says, because people are dying. So I suggest, and I really encourage, like I say, for people to go ahead and research radiation hormesis. Go ahead and Google in radiation hormesis and cancer cure, or radiation hormesis and anti-aging. You don't have to go just off my website. Do your own research on it. And if you have any questions, you get a hold of me and we'll answer them for you. X-ray, anything, yeah, there are.
Fluoroscopes are much worse, I think, than X-rays. That's what they did to me for 10 years.
What's a fluoroscope?
And this is helping me, I think, extract the lethal radiation that's in me.
Well, sure. What happens is it goes ahead and actually people who are going to do, let's say, radiation, you've opted to do radiation in the hospital, okay? What happens is I suggest that you go ahead and you do this first, because if you do the research, you'll find out once you're more acclimated to this, you're going to have an easier time getting a large amount. Okay, you'll adapt to it easier.
But you might not even need that radiation.
Well, let's hope not, and it's not going to happen.
That's right.
If you just use the information that's there that I'll get to you, you know, and show you where to go to. Remember, it's your body or your friends or your relative's body. Everything I do here has been proven historically, scientifically. I got present day case history. It's got doctors walking in circles. Which reminds me, I've got a, before we go back to the kit, they had an oncologist in Denver, all right? And they did a half-page article on him in the Rocky Mountain News that says, oncologist feels empathy for cancer patients because he has cancer now, okay? He makes $800 an hour sending people to radiation and chemo, okay? So he gets cancer in his sternum.
But that's not what he did.
No, he's not going to do it because it doesn't work.
He knows.
You know, to this day, he buys me lunch at the airport, and sometimes I want to look at him, and I haven't done this yet, but I want to look at him and say, I didn't lose anybody this month. How many people did you lose? Okay, yeah.
Wow.
So he sends these people to radiation and chemo, and he's not going to do it. Okay? Well,
You mean he can't cut loose from the 800 an hour?
it really hurts his feelings because he spent all his life in universities and stuff trying to learn how to do this, and then a helicopter mechanic comes along, shows him there's a better way, and fixes him. Okay?
Well, that's just...
Now, here's this guy's MRIs. Why would he give them to me? You know? I like
Why
those
would
MRIs.
he give them to you?
Here he is
Explain.
with his cancer, the red here. Here's after. Only thing he used was the stone therapy, and yoga. That's all he
Here,
used.
show me closer.
Here's where it's split here,
Just a second.
where the cancer was, and it's red here. Here's after, where it's back together, and the red's gone.
The sternum was split by the
Sternum,
cancer.
right here. See, it was eating it away.
It was eating it away.
See, here's the half side. You see before, cancer right here, where the red is. See how it's split right there? Here's after. It's back together, and this red's gone.
Let me get this here. This is...
So what happened was, now this guy, he goes ahead, and I get a call once in a while. He has a family member or a friend has cancer. Calls me up, and he says, they got cancer, can you help them, Jay? They got this kind of cancer. I never made this call. Thanks, buddy, bye. Can you imagine, how does this guy sleep at night?
Yeah, really.
How? Incredible.
If someone's already gone through a series of radiation treatments, does it matter?
No.
Does it differ?
No, if they've survived it and they didn't get their white blood cell count wiped out, all right.
Well, that's what happened to Peggy. You know, she went through the.
Well, she went through chemo.
Oh, yeah.
She did chemo. This woman had ovarian cancer. Her, I don't know if you know what CA-125 is. Do you need it? CA-125 for ovarian cancer?
Ovarian cancer.
Right. It's a normal is 35. Okay, to check for ovarian cancer. Hers was 8,700. They put her on chemo. It was getting worse. She's gonna die. Straight out. Got her on this, doing with the chemo. In 12 days, we got it down to 4,100. And then 12 days after that, got it down to 850. All right. And now she's back in normal range. And she quit doing the chemo. All right. In fact, she was, remember, she's a lady that came up and hugged me and kissed me, and
It was awesome.
yeah, in Phoenix.
Yeah, she was sobbing. I mean,
It was incredible, huh?
She had never met you, remember?
Yeah.
She had only talked with you on the phone.
Yeah. And then I have a doctor in southern Colorado. He just had a PSA, prostate cancer. Normal's like 0.2, 0.4, or whatever. His was 87. He's got cancer. He's going to die. It was affecting his pancreas, okay? I mean, he's everybody's doctor down there in this big ranching community, right? And everybody loves him, but he's dying of prostate cancer. I had him take one of these gray stones like you have.
Like this, I gave it to her.
Yep, stuck it right between his legs, right behind his scrotum. Right?
Not this one.
Not that one.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that one, yeah.
That stuff's been
He
around.
held it there for, I mean, he didn't let it get out of there for a month and a half.
So he just put it in his pants and just walked around with it.
You darn right,
Now,
anywhere
would
he
you
had.
repeat that? I mean, that's a critical piece. He left it there. He left it there. I mean,
He
that's
put it there
a
right
critical
behind his
piece.
scrotum
A
for
lot of people
a month and a
forget.
half.
They do it for a day or two or three or a week or two or three, and then they think they're supposed to magically be better, and they don't
He
continue.
did it for a month and a half.
It's my experience.
Now
Yeah.
here, because his was so bad,
Are you ready?
because
for
his
this?
cancer
Can
was
you
so
handle it?
bad, he got 2 lemon-sized tumors on the inside of his legs. Okay, remember he's going to die anyway. He's got to do something. He got 2 lemon-sized tumors on the inside of his legs. They burst open eventually. All this green, yellow, brown, smelly cancer stuff just drained out of his body. You know what his PSA is now? He's at a 0.9. From an 87 to a 0.9 in a month and a half. He went through hell, but saved his life.
I think that PSA test is very questionable.
It is. It's only 70% false. It doesn't even measure cancer.
Right.
But if you've got one that's that high, you got cancer.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I can see anywhere like from between a 7 and an 11 toward be false, and then you need to get some better. There's other
Right.
tests you can take. But when you got one that's 85 or even up 31, I had another guy with 31 in a month. We got it down to a 0.4 without the tumors. Okay. But that high, you got problems. Okay. So,
Can you explain how the PSA test works? What's it measuring?
well, you can have me do that?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. I'll let you know what it is. PSA is actually measuring the level of the liquid that goes into the sperm. Okay.
What kind of liquid?
The prostate. It's the jelly-like substance inside the sperm that holds the sperm together.
Semen.
Seminal fluid.
Well, yes.
So it's measuring, but what in semen is it measuring?
Seminal fluid. What's
Yeah.
What gives you a-
measuring in the fluid though? What's
Yeah,
the
what gives you a high
24
mark, what gives you a
what's
low
the-
mark?
They're measuring the fluid, but what's in the fluid that they're measuring? How much fluid or what?
No, it's not how much fluid, and I can't remember. It's a marker, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's the marker on the amount that's present. Okay.
The amount of cancer?
No, it's not cancer. Okay, because they're not counting cancer.
Protein. I think.
Protein, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but now but let's go to another cancer, so you can get me off that subject. Okay. let's talk about a comfortable one. Breast cancer. Okay, now here's what happens.
For you.
Here's what happens with breast cancer and how radiation hormesis works. Okay, and I've seen this so many times. Breast cancer is easy. What happens is, a woman, let's say she calls me up and says she has a mass, and whether she's going by a PET scan, MRI, or whatever, I don't care. Okay, so she's got a mass. What happens is in the first week and a half, let's say they do another scan on it. Okay. the mass there is going to be just a hair bigger. Usually, normally it's a hair bigger. Remember, you're aggravating the fungus, you're killing it, okay? Then what's going to happen is it gets smaller, and it's smaller. And like about 3 months, lady will call me up, happens all the time, and say, hey, it's been 3 months, last month I took one, it was smaller, didn't do anything, but we just took one, it's been 3 months now, I took it and it hasn't changed a bit, Jay. Well, you know what happened, it's not cancer anymore. You created, when we used the stones with her in a necklace, and we'll go over that, we created an environment to where the cancer can't survive. In other words, all she has left is scar tissue. That's it. I mean, so we can get them set up like with an mass test. I love using a mass test. It sees if there's cancer in your body. All right. But I love doing the mass test, and they get the results because you can't argue with it because they see a mass. Or one lady, she had the scar tissue there. She was still scared. She got a lumpectomy anyway, and guess what they found? Nothing. So what I do is I have women who are going through this give her a call. All right, so that they'll know what's going on. So she's taught them, like, hey, if they see something there,
it's a support system.
It's just scar tissue. Don't panic, okay? Because I did, and I screwed up. She had a hard time with the lumpectomy than she had anything. Okay.
Tell them what your stone treatment is, though, for breast cancer.
Well, actually, the necklaces. Here's what it is.
Super underwire bra.
Yeah. What I did. I used to have women with breast cancer that they'd have to hold a stone, kind of like that gray stone, on tumor all the time, yeah. It was hard for them, all right, to hold it on all the time. So what I did is I made a stronger necklace that they could have right there, all right. And I measure them out. I mean, all the time I have my guys measure these out. They have to come within a certain amount, a limit, or they can't go out. So I made them for women with breast cancer. Well, what happened is those necklaces were working great for people with lung cancer. They were working great for people with thyroid problems. They were working for people with just their organs in their body. So it just complemented everything. In other words, I had this doctor in Illinois. She used to get a lot of stage 4 cancer patients. And we used to try to figure out what stone we're going to give to this person. You know, or a necklace or a mud pack. And then one day she says, Jake, just quit making mousing around. If you're going to fix a person, you fix the whole person. Which she's right. Got a cancer somewhere, and I focus on cancer a lot, but I work with a lot of other diseases. I mean, you've got a cancer somewhere, you get rid of it, it's going to come up somewhere else. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of it. You know, people who are cancer-free now, they carry remission on their shoulders, all right? Who wants that? And no. We're going to give you live a long, normal, happy, healthy life. Keep building up your immune system. In other words, like me, I don't lie to anybody about what I am. I'm a helicopter mechanic. I eat McDonald's. I smoke. God doesn't call in the qualified, He qualifies the called. Remember that, okay? I haven't had a cold or an allergy in years. I'm up at 4:30 in the morning and I'm up till working helicopters about 5, and then I'm working with patients and doctors and cutting stone till about 11 o'clock every night. And if I'm not at the mines, I'm out on the weekends like I am here, giving speeches and educating people on how to get themselves better.
How do you have time to be a helicopter mechanic?
I'm the boss.
Oh, it's your company?
No, but I'm the head, I'm the director of maintenance for
That's
this
why
company.
That shirt on.
Yeah. My boss lets me go wherever I need to go. You know why? Because he knows what I'm doing for people, right? The owner.
No, I would just think you wouldn't have time to do. Anybody can do that.
Well,
not everybody is part Cherokee or whatever that gives that kind of.
Obviously, he's well organized. He can put it together.
Or maybe you just enjoy it, huh?
I love doing the helicopters, but you know, actually, the sad fact of it is because I'm building this wellness center and traveling around it like I do to all these places and mining and you say next week I'll be in Boulder giving presentations, then Ordway, Colorado, then I'll be going to I'll end up going to there's another place, Phoenix back here, then I'll be going to California.
You're going to White Plains and Connecticut.
Yeah. So unfortunately, because there's so many, I'm the only person in the country that does this.
Yeah, I know, but all these engines, helicopter engines, are backing up, right?
Well, no, so far everything's working great. But I got to go rescue one as soon as I get back, okay? Yeah, really. No, he's in Utah, and they're having problems there, so when I get back, I'll have to fly out and go fix it. But I'm going to have to quit helicopters.
Yeah, I would
I'm gonna have to. There's just, I mean, come on. I've done all the cool stuff. We make movies, Powerline Patrol, Division of Wildlife, Counting, Big Orange Sheep, whatever. I do the cool stuff. I've already proved myself.
Oh,
okay?
really?
Oh, yeah.
Fun. So you had a lot of fun.
I got pictures of me and like Paul Newman, and, you know, all kinds of stuff, okay? But we've flown the Dalai Lama, I mean, all kinds of things. I've been doing this all my life. Search and rescue,
You're the man.
manhunts.